Hubba hubba! Spawnwave doesn't own news roundups. I mean, hello! Today we're trying something a little bit different. Nintendo just released their financial report, and as often is the case when they do so, they've also kind of given us a bunch of other news to go along with it, to kind of, you know, hype everyone up a little bit. There's also been a number of rumors that have been coming out recently. There's just a whole lot of little things to talk about, kind of all at once, all at the same time. So I figured that I'd do a, you know, sort of a little news roundup discussion-y sort of thing, just to, you know, never done this kind of thing before. It's basically what I do with Nintendo Directs, except there's no Direct. So there you go. The top headline of the day, I think, is that Nintendo just revealed a massive update for Super Mario Maker 2. I already did an entire video on this, so I won't go too deep into it. But obviously, they revealed the World Maker, which now gives people the ability to not only make their own courses, but to fit them into their own custom worlds, essentially their own Mario games with up to 8 worlds and up to 40 courses. That's a whole Mario game right there. We can finally do it, which finally makes Mario Maker seem like a complete Mario making package. So obviously that is very, very exciting. But again, I have a whole separate video on that. If you want to know more about my opinions on that, go watch that instead of this one. But after this one, because abandonment is not good for YouTube analytics. Moving on, it's funny because Nintendo revealed the Super Mario Maker 2 update in the evening, my time, and then the very next morning, just now, they revealed a very large update for Animal Crossing as well, and some of the seasonal events that are going to be going on soon. Leaf the Sloth, actually, I'm pretty sure the name is actually Leif, but it does seem to be alluding to a leaf, so I'll call him Leif. Leif the Sloth will be stopping by Players' Islands regularly, and he'll sell things like flower seeds and shrubs and things. And, you know, the shrubs. That's what's most exciting about this. Those little, round little shrubs with the flowers in them, that's really nice. I don't know, something about that really, like, we've already got flowers, we've already got a couple different kinds of plants, but those shrubs, I'm into that. Thank you, Leaf. Thank you very much. Then Red apparently has gotten himself a little boat, you know, so that he can even more quickly move around and sell people fake art. The official name is Jolly Red's Treasure Trawler. Every once in a while he'll pop up and try to sell you some art, and you have to figure out which ones are real and which ones are fake, because the museum won't take fake art. I have never really gotten into this. I never figured out how to do it or how to know which, and I just hated Red so much, and I never wanted him to have even a single cent of my money, even if it was legitimate. So So I don't know if I'll be partaking in this or not, but a new section of the museum is opening up for art, and that's actually pretty exciting. I do like filling out a museum, so I'll have to make a hard decision here. I know they wanted to keep the whole, you know, fake or not mechanic, but it is a little bit disappointing that a character has shown up in a boat and it is not Cap'n. That's definitely disappointing. I was hoping if anyone was going to show up in a little boat. I mean, come on. I miss the Cap'n. I miss him a lot. We'll see. He's got to come back. He's got to come back. He's capping. For a few weeks at the end of April and early May will be Nature Day. I assume it's sort of like Bunny Day, where it's a number of days sort of culminating into one day. I'm not 100% sure on that. It just says Nature Day in the update. And during this time, there will be a bunch of special Nook Miles challenges that'll kind of focus on nature-y stuff like flowers and trees. And that's pretty fun if it's an opportunity to earn extra Nook Miles for doing anything. I love earning Nook Miles, even if I don't even always spend them. I've kind of been amassing a lot of them, but that's a lot of fun. There's also the May Day Tour. In the first week of May, players are going to get a special ticket, and this is just a one-time ticket to take to the airport and head to a special one-time island. And it is kind of hard to tell from the video. It's this weird island. It's kind of like a maze, and they're jumping over holes, and I'm not 100% sure what this is gonna do, but I am excited to find out for sure. And I love the idea that, you know, now with regular internet updates, they can just bring us these kinds of like weird, special, one-time mystery events that everybody is gonna get everybody just jump back in the game and just see what's up. And I love that. There's no limit to the kinds of weird stuff like this that they can do. So definitely looking forward to checking that out. I love going to islands. Then May 18th through 31st is International Museum Day. Again, I'm still not sure if that means like there's gonna be a day that's the day, or if it's just like like the day is spread out into almost a few weeks because they realize that people aren't always going to be available on one day, which is pretty cool even if that's the case. Give us lots of time to do it. I'm a little unclear on this. You kind of run around the museum and you collect stamps from the exhibits or something. Not 100% clear on that one. Couldn't really tell from the video or the press release, but I don't know. Seems like a fun little thing to do. And you know what? Things to do is always appreciated. Then for the entire month of June, a very specific thing. It's wedding season. So Reese and Cyrus are, I guess they were already married, but they want anniversary photos. So you go to Harvey's Island to arrange special anniversary photos of them. And I guess this is just a fancy way to get wedding-themed furniture. Okay, that's fine. Give us some strange little thing to do to get that furniture. I'm not gonna do it, but seems fine if anyone's interested in that. Now, recently, people were reporting on a data mine for the game that actually predicted or, pre-revealed a lot of this stuff, but not all of it. So does that mean that all of the other stuff in the data mine was definitely true? Probably. People love spoiling things these days. But, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. Also be interesting to see if Nintendo continues to install stuff into the game before they're ready to reveal it, which seems a little silly now. Now everything is getting spoiled, but oh well. Now, on the subject of Animal Crossing, that update is not even the biggest news. We knew that Animal Crossing was going to sell well. We knew it was going to sell very, very, very well. But I don't know if anyone could have anticipated just how well it's selling. We are still waiting for solid numbers to come in. I don't think we're going to get those until Nintendo themselves reveals them. But we are getting some very impressive statistics. It was the best-selling game of March 2020, and it is currently the #2 best-selling game of the year so far. And that is pretty impressive because there are a lot of very high-profile games that have released within the first quarter of this year. Here's where it gets really interesting. Okay, so physical dollar and unit sales for Nintendo products. Just physical Nintendo games in stores, the 3rd highest launch month for any of them in tracked history. Out of every physical game, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm getting from this. Every physical game Nintendo has put out, this is the 3rd highest grossing launch month. And that doesn't even count the digital sales, which we know are particularly inflated because of this whole situation and people's slight difficulty in acquiring physical copies. And the nature of the game just being a very good game to buy digitally. Okay, so also, the launch month of Animal Crossing New Horizons has exceeded the lifetime sales of all other Animal Crossing titles, meaning it has already outsold all other Animal Crossing titles just in its launch month. Nintendo games have legs, and this will continue to sell throughout the life of the Switch. This is incredible. It is unprecedented, and I honestly think it may go on to be the #1 or #2, maybe behind Pokemon. It's going to be one of the highest selling. It's going to outsell Mario. It's going to outsell Zelda. It's probably going to outsell Smash. Like, Animal Crossing was already a juggernaut, and now it is just moving its way up the Nintendo franchise ladder. And that is just like, wow. I mean, it's amazing. Nintendo gave us a really great game at just the right time, and there was so much buzz around it, and that really paid off. Oh, but it gets better. You cannot have a smash hit game without also selling a lot of hardware. And Nintendo Switches have been selling like crazy. This year, the Switch generated the highest first quarter unit sales for any hardware since the Nintendo DS did, way back in 2010. Switch hardware sales more than doubled when compared to a year ago. Switch set an all-time record for unit sales for any March month since NPD began tracking. That includes the launch month, and the launch month is always a really huge thing. There's always a big giant spike of sales for any system, and yet they sold more. They sold more in March of 2020 thanks to Animal Crossing. I'm getting all this information from Go Nintendo. They've got a really awesome sales breakdown breakdown of the NPD and sales track and all this different stuff, even other stuff in the industry. It's a really interesting read. Go check it out. Unfortunately, as is often the case in situations like these, with crazy sales, we are also seeing Switch shortages. People are having a really hard time getting their hands on a Switch. Maybe even the hardest time that they've had since launch. I know it was a little bit hairy around launch, but then Nintendo, you know, they gave us a lot of units. They upped production a lot. It hasn't been a really big problem, but now it is. And there's one reason that it's been a problem. Somebody created a bot that allows people to track when certain retailers get Switches back in stock, and then the bot immediately purchases the Switch for them. So they, you know, they don't have to actually be there doing it themselves. It happens instantly. Maybe this was created for a noble purpose, is what it sounds like, for people who just are having a hard time getting one. But naturally, this is an open source software, so scalpers have gotten a hold of it, and they're using it to just basically take every single Switch unit possible instantly and never allow anybody to buy them legitimately. And it's actually become a really big problem, and it has contributed to these stock shortages online. And right now, retailers aren't even 100% sure how to fight against these bots, so it's a little bit scary. So you've probably been seeing the news stories about how Switches are going online for, you know, double their original price, $500, $600, $700 or $800 for an Animal Crossing bundle. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's definitely one of those stories that makes you realize how scary technology can be. One very simple little open source piece of software has caused a legitimate problem for Nintendo and the people trying to buy their products. So, I don't know, hopefully people get it worked out. I know it's an especially bad problem now because it's not as easy to just walk to the store and buy a Switch. Oh, I can't get it online, at least I can go get it at Target. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder to do that, so hopefully that's something they work out pretty soon. In response to these hardware shortages, Nintendo has gone on the record saying that it is their plan to increase production of the Switch by about 10%, but they're not completely sure that they're going to be able to secure all of the specific parts that they need to build the Switch. So that's their hope. They're hoping to increase production, but they're not completely sure if they're going to do it. So it's another fingers crossed situation. One kind of funny result of these Switch and Animal Crossing shortages is in Japan, the demand for Animal Crossing New Leaf on the 3DS has gone up significantly. I haven't looked too deep into it yet. It's possible that the prices are going up everywhere, but I know, particularly in Japan, people are so crazy about Animal Crossing and they're feeling so, like, left out that now they're rushing to get New Leaf for their 3DSs, which is really funny because it's like you had it this whole time. The game has been available to you this entire time, but like now it's just like everybody's looking around and watching everybody enjoying Animal Crossing. I guess it's really gotten them in the mood, so that's a little bit funny. In other news, I'm not really sure if this is some sort of data leak, some sort of security breach, but people are reporting that their Switch accounts are getting hacked. This was happening a little while back, maybe about a month ago. People were getting into people's Switch's accounts and using their PayPal accounts to buy things. Usually, like V-Bucks on Fortnite is almost like exclusively what they want to steal money for, which is kind of weird. So at that time, everyone was like, dude, you gotta unlink your PayPal account. So that's what I did. But now people are reporting it all over again. Nintendo themselves have responded saying that the most important thing to do, I would think that just changing your password would work, but I don't know, maybe people are finding another way in or something, because they're saying that the most safe thing to do is to go into your Nintendo account and enable two-step verification, basically making it harder or even impossible for a person to get into your account just because they have your password. They would require some other information too. That's a very good idea. I'm going to be doing that, and I highly suggest anybody listening to this does that too. Go to Nintendo, make it happen. Better safe than sorry. You don't want anyone getting into your account and buying $100 worth of V-Bucks and then running away. Next up, we have a very soft rumor. People often look to retailer listings, like unlisted retailer listings, for potential new games that are coming out. Best Buy, there's apparently like an unlisted page for Super Mario 3D World port on Switch. These are often true, you know, like especially when they come out of Walmart. You know, Walmart directs have been very popular, especially with like third parties. In this case, this was at Best Buy. They've had some stuff right before, but then they've had other stuff. Specifically, everyone cites Metroid Prime Trilogy and Persona 5 on Switch. These had listings on the Best Buy website, and nothing ever came of those. I suppose something could still come of them, but that was like a year ago, and nothing has happened. So at this point, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it could just be a placeholder. I mean, like, a Super Mario 3D World port on Switch is inevitable. You know what I mean? Even if it does come, I don't think that means that anybody here knows for sure. In fact, this year is a very good candidate for getting a 3D World port, especially with all the Mario remaster and port rumors and everything. So, I don't know, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in this specifically calling it, even though I do think it is inevitable. Finally, Nintendo just released a new My Nintendo app, and the app actually sounds really cool. It lets you watch videos, including Nintendo Directs, which is, you know, which is all right. It lets you buy games digitally from the eShop from your phone, and even more interestingly, it lets you check your playtime between your Switch, your Wii U, and your 3DS. I'm not 100% sure if this just like digs into everything that you've already done, like, because, you know, the Switch, it doesn't show us all of the information, but I think it does if you have parental control. Sort of, it's just digging into all that info and giving it to us. That's a very useful feature. I always, you know, I'm always asking for an accurate play counter on all of my games, and so this sounds like a really, really cool app. Unfortunately, it is currently only available in Japan. Darn. I'm not sure if they have any intention of bringing it west. I would certainly hope so. I know the whole, like, My Nintendo Rewards program in general has been kind of stripped down here in the West, and it's a lot better in Japan, but this doesn't seem to be directly linked to that, even though it's called My Nintendo. It certainly seems like the sort of thing that would eventually come here. Oh, and one more thing I forgot is that it will allow you to more easily check in at events. Like, you know, you go to PAX, or you go to some other Nintendo event, they got QR codes and stuff, and it lets you use the app to check in, which would be very, very helpful. Actually, when I was at PAX, there was a whole thing where we had to use a QR code and check in at My Nintendo in order to get a pin, an Isabelle pin that they were giving out. But doing that website on the phone was pretty darn cumbersome. So having it all available in an app with an actual QR code reader and everything would make those kinds of things way, way easier. So I'm certainly hoping we get something like that over here. So that is it for the latest batch of Nintendo news/rumors. Do you enjoy this format? Is this the sort of video you would like to see me doing more of? Let me know down in the comments. Please have yourself a wonderful day. And I will say, I am currently reporting Nintendo news out of a car, because that's the only place that I could get away to record. Just reporting news on the internet out of a car. It's just funny where life takes you. You know what I mean? It's just funny. It's funny where the river of life leads us. All right, see you later.